Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, O'Neill, and today my guest is the one and only Kevin Cameron.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Happy to be here. I'm doing well.
Good, good. It's good to have you on. Um, I've known Kevin for a while, and I wanted him on the show to really talk about his creative process. I've done a series on creatives, and you're in a space by yourself. There's not a lot of people that are doing like filmmaking and creating movies. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have you on. I know my audience would love to hear, especially those that are aspiring to get involved in that. Just to hear what your journey was like, your creative process, and a little bit of what you're doing, and just some of the pitfalls or things that you were able to navigate that might be good to assist someone who's an up and comer. So I guess the first thing is, how did you get involved in the whole movie creation and business?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I guess I've always been a creative, and I back in the '90s when I was in high school, you know, you weren't really considered you wouldn't really consider yourself looking to do something creative as a career. Like your parents weren't really supportive of like that. It's not even an option. You don't even bring that up like with your parents.
I'm
Like,
making
yeah, i'm
movies,
gonna
yes.
i'm gonna go do film or what. It wasn't even an option as a major for the school that I was trying to go to. And so it never even crossed my mind. But in retrospect, if I look at my life and I listen to people talk about me, about how I was as a teenager or whatever, I was always acting. I was always doing silly things.
Performing.
I was always performing. Bringing people together to
Yes.
organize things. One of the stories I like to tell is in high school. Martin was my favorite show, Martin Lawrence, and so what I did after I saw the first episode, I went to school, uh, at my high school, in Toronto, Crawford Academy, and I asked the principal if I could put a skit together for assembly, and
Pretty
she,
brave. Hmm.
and she said yes. And so I got some of my friends together, and we redid Martin's first episode for assembly. Everybody went crazy.
Really?
Like, yeah,
Okay.
we just did a little portion of it, and ever since then, I just always been in acting or trying to put things together. There's lots of stories about of things that led up to that point. So, what's interesting in college, I never joined a drama club. I never filmed anything.
In high school, the same thing? Were you
No,
part of any drama clubs or anything
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
High
In
school?
high
Okay.
school, I
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
but in college, I did nothing. I actually thought the drama club was a little corny to me.
Okay.
People liked it,
Yes.
but I just thought it was corny. I don't know what my problem was, but I wrote poetry in college, but I never joined. But when came back to Toronto, I started to teach. I taught English. I felt like, oh man, I got to do something more than this. I'm a little bit bored. I'm a little bored.
Hmm.
So that's when I wrote a script for a stage play, and it was called "The Worst Kind of Perfect." And then that felt great, knowing sitting in the audience watching the play and the words that I wrote and the reaction of the audience. That felt pretty cool. And then the next year I wrote another one called Poetic Prodigal, The Poetic Prodigal, where I infused music, poetry with a new version of the prodigal son, and that was pretty awesome. But then I was like, this is stressing me out. He's working with students with live performance was stressful. Um, because people could not show up on the day, kids are immature, whatever. So then I said, no more stage plays. Let me do a screenplay. So in 2009, I wrote and directed my first screenplay. This is all while I'm teaching high school English.
Right. Right.
And you came to the premiere, and it was a
Yeah,
packed
I
house,
remember it.
and well received. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't edit anything, but I directed and I wrote it. And I was like, it got coverage, media coverage. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Wow. So there's two things. I don't mean to cut you off, but there are a couple of things as you were speaking that jumped out at me. And one is obviously you love the creative process. Do you like the creative process? Is it more for you or is it for the audience? Because I've asked a couple of creatives this, and they always say, at the end of the day, I like to do things for me, and whether or not the people like it, it really doesn't matter. It's really about them being able to express them. And from your perspective, and you creating, like you did stage, then you went on to do film and things like that, and with students, maybe not, people that are learning the trade, and maybe not a professional. W- And you said you talked about seeing the reaction of people. Is that important to you? Does that drive you, or is it more of your creative freedom?
Yeah, so it does. It does. It is very important to me that the audience receives it well and reacts to it well and takes it in well. But I don't think I'm such an artist that it's like I'm not Erica Badu.
Okay.
Like I'm not super like out there. Like
Right.
I'm just like I pretty much I'm in the pocket in a sense.
Okay.
So I feel like my stuff people are gonna receive it well because it's not like it's not interpretive, you know,
Okay. Okay.
unless it's camera work and movements and stuff like that. People might miss some of those things, but generally speaking, I think I'm not really out there like that. But the audience, it matters how people
It
receive
matters.
it. It matters.
Matters. And so, what is your creative process? How do you come about? And maybe I'm jumping ahead, but how do you come about creating? Like, what? Like, are you someone who has to see something and be inspired by it, or is it? Are you someone that, you know, you just an idea just comes up and you want to follow through with it? Like, what is it that starts the creativity
Yeah,
for you?
yeah. For me, I think it's inspiration. I think I see something, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I could da 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 da. Like seeing other art like almost begets art in me,
Right.
right? And so that a lot of times if I go to a stage play, like I'm overwhelmed with creativity. Like The Lion King, like that. Those type of performances really blow my mind. Like it just makes me think, how did they do that? How did they do that? How did they do that? Like, I really love stage plays and movies. They also inspire me. And then there are the random times I'm like, oh, something pops into my head and I'm like, yeah, I gotta write this down. And then so I have a whole note section in my phone of all these ideas that come to me at different times. But generally speaking, I'm inspired by things.
So, just trying to piece a couple of things together because you're obviously good with words. You're an English teacher. I guess that's was your major in
Yeah.
school,
Hmm.
and so you have a way with words. You said you did poetry. Are those things? Do they lend themselves to your art, or is it something that, regardless of that, you could just do? Like you feel that you would have the capacity and ability to have, to create, or does it really come from the poetry that you did and then envisioning it, being inspired? Like, does that play a role in your development
I
as a
think so.
director?
I think so for sure. The having the fundamentals uh, of the English language and the nuances of art and how you can put words together, not just in a regular way. Like you can give it some flavor, or you could turn things upside down and
Right.
still make sense of things. I think having the English background is definitely good. But today, the kids today, they have such a opportunity to use the AI that exists to help them, which I'm using as well
Yeah.
to fast track my process if I'm short on an idea. Because before AI, all the ideas are coming from the brain. Now you have AI, it helps jolt you to give you fresh ideas, a perspective that you didn't think of much more quickly. Um, but yeah, the English background definitely helps me.
And the only reason why I asked that, in regard to the creative process, is that from what I read and understand, is that you've never been formally, like you've never gone to a formal school for film
Yeah.
and film creation. So you have some kind of background that people don't realize, and you talk about the fundamentals of the English, and part of writing scripts and all that does help. And so my question is, do you feel that, not going to film school or having that kind of background Has it inhibited you in doing what you want to do, or has it been? Some people feel that it's a blessing that you're not trained in a certain way. You have some formal training in the writing, which is very important. Do you feel that you missed out on anything from not going to film school?
I do feel like I missed out on the relationship building. I missed out on technical. I missed out on the technical for sure. Um, but I also do not carry the burden of perfectionism because I don't formally know how to do it that way, right?
Right,
So I just want to get it done. If I went to film school, I it would be in my head each step, each process, each thing, each how I would have to do it. Like when I wrote the first script for the movie, it was not written in the format that a script should be written in. I just wrote it, and I wrote all the like the blocking. I just wrote it, everything that I know I needed to do in the movie, even as from the perspective of director. I wrote it down. I just didn't do it in the format.
right.
And if I had the formal training, that could never have, I could never have done that. So it didn't inhibit me to making the movie at all. At all. I never had any missing elements, anything like that. So um I missed the opportunity. Yes, I think I missed out on some things, especially the technical, but I don't carry the burden. I just get it done. I don't care.
And that's so interesting because I think with the formal training, you're kind of not that you're put in a box, but there's ways that you have to do it. And I think that's what you're saying.
Hmm.
But with you, you have that's true freedom. Like you don't know certain things, so you're creating as you go along. And I
Hmm.
say, and that's the biggest set of freedom and creativity because you're just doing things the way you see it needs to be done.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
now
sure. Go ahead.
now I have I do the scripts the proper way, like
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
and I've learned and I
Well, this is
studied
it. So
and
you're learning through the process.
I was.
Mhm.
My father asked me after he watched one of my movies, like, how do you even know how to do this stuff, right?
Mhm.
Like I said, he goes, you went to like, did you secretly go to school did you take courses?
Yes.
And I didn't take a formal course, but what I have done is I've done master classes. So I
Yeah.
subscribed to masterclass and I studied and listened to all the filmmakers, especially the independent ones, who are making independent films. So Spike Lee is a huge his story about how he started. I know he went to film school and all that, but like he gives some practical tips on how
Right.
to finish a project.
Yes.
And I studied how to talk to your how to get the best out of your actors. Like I've been studying. I've been on YouTube. I've been on anything where I need to know something. I have found the answer and I've studied it. Yeah, for sure.
So for you, it's like you do both writing and directing.
Hmm.
Some people that's separate. You're doing both. What do you like better? Or is there one that you prefer? Or which one is more challenging for you?
The writing is more challenging because I'm impatient. I want it out quickly, and that doesn't work that way. And then I'm super busy, so I have my other stuff that's going on. So it it's very difficult to find the time to really just sit and write because it's gonna take me a few weeks to finish a script, and I don't have a few weeks because I got other things going on. So I got to do it in pockets. So for me, the writing is the hardest part for me. The directing is the best part. Like, yeah, because I just love being on set, and I actually love producing as well. Some people don't like producing. My daughter is a film. McKenna is a film.
Hmm.
She studied film, and she's a filmmaker as well. She doesn't like producing. My partner in my current movie, he hates producing. Um, he doesn't like producing at all. But I just love the idea of the process. Like I love the process. So calling locations and getting no's and calling another one and figuring things out. I really enjoy all of that.
Behind the scenes, a
Hmm.
lot of the heavy lifting and
Hmm.
stuff that people don't really
That's
see.
right. Yeah.
But doing the producing, and in your case, producing, doing some writing and directing in
Hmm.
some cases,
Hmm.
that's a lot.
Yeah. I
And
love it.
I'm so glad to hear that your daughter, who who had formal training now,
Hmm.
gone through film school and so forth, is definitely working with you, and
Hmm.
that definitely is. an asset or a help with the technical aspect
For
of
sure,
certain
for
things.
sure. Sometimes I just say, "Hey, McKenna, what should I do? I'm gonna go film this thing. I
Yes.
need to do this, X, Y." She's like, "Just do this, that, da, da, da." And I'm like, "Thank you. I don't have to think about it.
Wow.
Like, just tell me."
Well,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's good. So you have a film out right now, or
Mm-hmm.
name some. What film started this all for you?
Yeah. So 2009, Hush.
Yes.
Um, that was a 65-minute runtime film. Um, it's on YouTube now, and my family laughs at it now, but it is, I would say, it's a classic.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, for the Christian community in Toronto. It's definitely a classic. You know, it was a big time. A lot of people remember that movie, that event, and then fast forward, I've worked on other projects like a documentary of a pastor who was 99 years old when we started. He died at like 102, 103, and that was a very good project, a documentary. And then
And those documentaries were done in the U.S. because
in
you
the
were in the
states,
U.S. at the
yes,
time.
yes,
Yeah.
and I filmed and edited that one, and directed it. Then I did a pilot of a TV show in Cleveland. That was very interesting. I wasn't supposed to edit that one, but I ended up editing it because the editors couldn't do it, and so that was an interesting one. But I had to go through that process. It wasn't very good, but I I wanted to create, so I definitely just did it. And that's one thing I would love to share on this podcast is that for creatives, some people struggle with finishing a project because of whatever reason. So perfectionism, they don't like the way they sound. Whatever the reason. There's so many people out there who have ideas stuck in a book or in their phone, or get to a certain point and give up or whatever. And I would say you need to finish that project. You need to, no matter what, finish it. Get it out there so you can get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Too many ideas end up on the editing room floor, or they're left in your phone. And I know this is not new to anybody, but the difference between some people is that you might be brilliant, but you're stuck in yourself, in your own head, right? But other people who are less brilliant, but for some reason have that get it done attitude, those are the people that are going far. So you just got to get it done.
And you're so right. I think a lot of creatives, myself included, we get stuck in our own, you know, trying to be perfect
Yeah.
and trying to make sure that we get it perfect the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's definitely value in making sure that you do your best that
For
you
sure.
can,
For sure.
but you can't let that prevent you from actually producing a product or
100%.
doing something. And I think a lot of creatives, you're right, that's what happens. And I think, sometimes it's not always the talented, it's those that work hard
Yep.
and who can do that, the work ethic.
Yep.
Sometimes they see the success because they're willing to do something and try something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's scary too when you're creative, just, putting your eye.
You're vulnerable.
Yes, very vulnerable. And not a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
So, that's why I asked you earlier on, like, what's important to you? Is it the reaction from the audience or for someone that you're preparing it for? Or is it really the satisfaction from you? And I think, especially if you're preparing, like a lot of people have a balance, but when you're preparing for someone else, you make yourself very vulnerable.
For sure.
And
I actually thrive on some of that stuff, right? Where I know that I know what the audience is going to, I know how to stick them. And if it's at the cost of me, I'm okay with that too. Like, I'm okay with people laughing at me. I'm okay with, people coming for me in a fun way or whatever. I'm okay with all of that. So, yeah, even on social media, I'm like, I do skits and stuff like that. Like, I'm okay with I'm okay with being vulnerable to a certain degree.
And do you think for a young person out there, or not even a young person, anybody who's interested in getting into this, because I've seen your YouTube stuff, and it's hilarious. And so it's not just one or two films or one or two documentaries that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
You've done multiple things in different areas, whether it's a short, a full film, TV
Skits.
sitcoms, skits,
Yeah.
just stuff on the internet. And How important is that for someone who wants to get into the creative
Yeah, yeah.
space of filmmaking to do those
Yeah,
things?
I think it's the work, right? Like, if you're playing basketball, you're not just, playing in the games, right? You gotta get in the gym. You gotta go play in the playground. You gotta watch basketball. You gotta do all these different things before, you actually are getting good at it. So I think, for me, I've made music videos with my family. I've done commercials for schools, classes. I see a little kid when I was principal of a school. I saw a little kid. He's super funny, right? And so in my creative mind, I'm like, I gotta do a spoof with this kid on something else. And so I ended up making this commercial with this kid, and he was super funny. Like, you have to do, if you say you like something and you got to do it right, and the variety, and that's how my business started, KC Films and Media, right?
Good. I'm glad
It,
you're touching on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I would be making these family videos, music videos and stuff, and I made music for schools that I was working at, and somebody came up to me and he was like, when I was in Cleveland, he was like, "How much for a video?" Because I manage this company, and we do great work for like social services, and we want to tell the stories of the people. And I was like, "What? Like, like, I don't what?" Like, and there was that day that my business was born because I accepted that job, and I thought it was the most money ever. I remember it was like $6,000 for an hour and some documentary, and I didn't know what I was doing in terms of the technical and all of that. I knew I could tell stories. I know how to keep things in focus. I just said yes. $6,000 was
Oh yeah.
like
You don't say no.
no,
That's
no,
big
no,
money,
that was
man.
big money. And so yeah, I did it, and then from then on, I just kept on going
Just kept on growing and
and
growing
growing
and
and
growing and
growing.
growing. So you talked about Hush. You did
Oh
some
yes.
documentaries and things like that in between, and then you had something
Yeah.
that you're still working on, or it's coming on the tail end of a movie that you created.
Mhm.
And I would love for you to talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Right now, I've been touring my current movie called For His Name's Sake, written by Romaine Waite, and he stars in it as well as my partner in on this project, and we premiered October 2024 in Toronto, and to a sold out show. It was amazing. And so since then, I have been touring the movie, having screenings. So having private screenings in theaters, in churches, in facilities, and where we have red carpet events with VIP service and all these types of things, and Q&As and giveaways and all this stuff for the movie. And it has been like more than I could ever have dreamed of. Like, I thinking back all the way to 2009 when I did Hush, I never thought that it would be like this, like be touring my film across the United States and Canada.
Well, let me tell you, and I don't want to cut you off because I went to the premiere here in Toronto, and what a turnout.
Mhm.
What an event. You thought you were in Hollywood, and I'm not exaggerating in terms of the red carpet, the treatment, the VIP, the drinks,
Mhm.
non-alcoholic, I might add. Um, but and you had the Q&A at the end, in a beautiful theater. It was really nice, and it was really good to see the support that you got, and not just because people just wanted to support you, but because of the quality of your work. And I think that was really exciting, and it was really great to see, people on the red carpet getting their pictures taken. I think people really appreciated that, and it was a good start moving forward because the tour, you're just not doing it in Toronto. Like,
Right.
name some of the places that
Yeah.
you've
So I've
been.
been to Sacramento. I've been to the Bronx. I've been to Huntsville, Alabama. I've been to North Carolina. I've been to Orlando. Done it in Tampa. Um, I've done it so many places, so many places, and so many other places wanted it but couldn't get it, couldn't bring it together, couldn't coordinate timing and stuff. So I look forward to what's happening now. Is the film is potentially it will be on a streaming platform, in the next few months. So I'm
Right.
excited to make an announcement when it happens.
Yes.
And so the faith based community and outside of that
Hmm.
can support it and watch it when it starts streaming. And one of the things I want to mention as I will be making I'm a church boy, so I make faith based stuff,
Hmm.
faith based films, and my genre is drama.
Hmm.
And but one thing Christian films have like a bad reputation to be extremely corny and
I'm glad you're going to address
yeah,
because I was going to ask you that, but go ahead. Hmm.
yeah, whack and whatever. And I have a burden to make art that is faith based but real and look good and feel good and stuff like that. And so I achieved that. One of the greatest compliments. Some people might take this personally, but I don't because I know where they're coming from. That people watch the film and they say, "Oh my gosh, this is a real movie." Like I know what you mean by that. I don't take offense, and I take that as a compliment. Um, and at this last screening that I did in Tampa, the host for the Q&A says to me, this very same thing we're talking about now, how Christian films have a bad rep and stereotypically bad acting, and they don't take it serious, whatever. Yeah, and how this movie does not do that. And I really have a passion for that to make Christian films that look good, sound good, feel good, and are competitive in terms of the film world in the
Yeah,
film.
yeah, for sure. When I saw it, yeah, it was not corny. It was not, low budget. It was a good quality film.
Mhm.
That's why I think people there really appreciated it. I
Yeah.
think people have come to know your work and they were expecting something of good quality. And I think individuals that may not have known your
Mhm.
work, or maybe were going there to support, came out saying, "Wow, this was really good."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Cool.
So, Kevin, I know at the beginning we spoke about your parents, and any West Indian parent or Caribbean parent, when they say go to school, they're expecting you to learn like a profession, become a doctor, do this, do that. And anyone that's you know have Caribbean parents and you're first generation American or Canadian, you understand that. And so when you tell them, yeah, I want to become a singer or I want to do film, I could just imagine the reaction or the pause or the silence when you asked them that, or when you told them that that's what you're going to do. What was your experience like when you told your parents that this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, it was so funny because I had to make a skit about it afterwards. Like their reaction was so funny because so obviously I went to school and became a teacher, so that wasn't a thing, right? But it's when my business took off and everything that I had to explain to them, hey, things are gonna look different for you now in terms of what you have to say when your friends say, "How's Kevin doing?" Right? So I had to I sat them down trying to explain it to them.
And you do a very good impression of your dad.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually tried to get them to understand that, KC Films and Media, I make commercials and promotional videos and documentaries for businesses so that they can make money. And try to get them to say it back to me. And I have a skit with that. And the punchline of the skit is my mom and dad are not able to tell me what I do now,
Right.
but my mom's last line is, "So don't worry yourself, Kevin. Kev, don't worry yourself. I know you're gonna be a teacher again one day soon." So they're not with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as long as with West Indian parents, as long as you have enough money to take care of yourself, they'll be
Hmm.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I know your father, and I could just see how proud he is of you and your mom. As you go through that, like so at your events, just to see how supportive they are of you. That, yeah, they're glad that you were a teacher, and not only a teacher, you were a principal.
Hmm.
And so for them leaving such a it's a pretty prestigious position for our parents,
Hmm.
and then to give it up for the arts. Yeah, I could see a little trepidation or why
Yeah.
they're like that, but I could see at the end of the day, as long as you could support yourself, then
Hmm.
that's good.
Yeah. One of the favorite when I was making the film, the current film that I have now, I said to my parents, "Hey, I need to borrow the house. I'm gonna film a scene in the house."
Hmm.
And So I say, Mom, I'm coming to the house. And it wasn't really asking permission. They rock with me. They know I'm always doing something. So Mom, they were like, cool, when? So they prepared. So this is the day, of now. And I said to my mom wakes up. So we're there early. It's 7 o'clock. My parents live in St. Catharines. And my mom says, so Kev, what do you what you need what you need me to do? Like, can I come downstairs? You want me to be in the movie? Like and I was like, no, Mom, you're good, but you can come down anytime you want. I'm the director. I can cut. I can you if you need to come down. It's no problem. She was so proud of her house being in the movie because she really loved her house. And fast forward, that was August. That was May 2024, and the premiere was October 2024. My mom wasn't able to make the premiere because she passed away in August of 2024. And I just know, and I dedicated the movie to her, and I just know that she would have been super proud to see all those people there, super proud to see her house in the movie, super proud to see all this work that I've put into, telling Christian stories and faith based stories. And she would have been super, super proud of it.
And she was with you every step of the way in terms of support,
every step of the way,
regardless. And that talks about just love,
hmm
and the support that surrounded you for you to be you and to get where you need to be and to complete the project,
Yeah.
venture.
My parents, I've always had a close relationship um, with my parents. Not always. My dad was a challenge at a time, but
Well, you would never tell now.
yeah, no, now we're bosom buddies, and so I've always had a good relationship with my parents, and so for them, I like I take a strong responsibility when it comes to my parents, and I've always said to like Simone, my wife, and my kids, like my responsibility to my parents is to bring joy in their lives. Like my responsibility is not to bring any negativity or anything. Like it's what do you need? Like mom and dad, like okay, joy, joy, joy. And I definitely push them because I'm creative and I'm an artsy type. So I push them. For example, I live in Florida, so they live in St. Catharines where when my mom was alive, and so I would push them on FaceTime, and I would say, "Look, I need mom." Mom would answer the iPad, and I said, "Mom and Dad, I need you to sit together." And so this is like they don't want to. My dad is not trying to be, up next to mom like that. He's not. So I'm like, no, I can't see. I gotta see both of you. Like you gotta get over. You gotta move over. Right? Come on, move over. And then I would say, hey, I gotta ask a serious question. Like, I've been meaning to tell you guys this. Dad, tell me something you really love about mom. And he's just like, what is this? And then my mom would be like, well, I'll go first, and she'll say something, and then my dad will cut off my mom. Okay, I have something to say, and he'd say it. And so I just find different ways to relate to them, and creatively like bring them together and bring them joy and stuff like that. That's how I feel about who I am as a person too. Like the videos that I make for the world, like people will DM me and tell me that, Kevin, what you're doing is you don't understand the how much joy it brings. Like during COVID, I like this story. So during COVID, I was going crazy. Creatively, I wasn't able to do my stuff. I'm just in the house. So I decided to write a song, and I decided to have Simone rap a verse, Kendall, my other daughter, rap a verse.
Simone is your wife, right?
My wife,
Mhm.
yeah. And McKenna, she sang the hook. I sent the song out to my boy Sean to put it together for me, and I sent I think Stephen Lewis did the chorus or something for me. Yeah, so I collaborated with my friends to get the song together, and I remember we were in the closet of our house, and that's where we recorded the stuff. And so we got the song down. Sean sent me the final track, and then we went out and recorded the video to the song, and I edited it and put it out for during COVID. So it was Family Stay. The title is Family Stays Together. and I put it out on Facebook, and everybody was just like, "This is what we needed. Oh,
Yeah.
this is so good," whatever. So I really enjoy collaborating and putting things out. So what I actually did for some of my other videos is I choose a song, and then I call some of my friends and I say, "Hey, record with your family, or you lip sync this portion, send it to me," and then I fuse everybody together. And that just has a way of just endearing people to you, and people being a part of what you're doing, and the support online, and that's the stuff that I love.
Yeah.
Positivity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the stuff that I love.
I think that's what people are getting in terms
Mhm.
of like what you do, like when you talk about the joy of the family
Mhm.
and all, your parents, that's what I'm getting,
Mhm.
and I do know you. So, but I do feel that, it's pretty evident. It's important that it's positive, that it's
Super
strong.
important. Super
Yeah.
important.
Well, there's two more things that I don't want to forget
Mhm.
asking you. And one is in regards to your film not being, we kind of talked about you don't compromise it. And when I say compromise, like quality, I know we
Mhm.
touched on it a bit.
Mhm.
And with Christian drama, what people may think sometimes, but you have made an effort to make sure that it's not just for Christians.
Mm-mm.
And I think people have to realize that when you see, or any faith base, when you see the films, there are everyday issues
Yep.
that everybody, no matter Christian, non Christian, whatever the case is, they can understand and get something from it.
For
And I think
sure.
that's really important for
For
people to
sure.
understand
For
that
sure.
they're not going to be in watching something where it's going to be preachy or
Yeah.
someone trying to, tell them that this is how you have to live.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are everyday things that people can relate
Yeah,
to.
no, that is high up in my priority list in making the stuff that I make. Like,
Mhm.
it has to be human. It has to
I
be
like
a
that.
human story. And everybody has to be able to see themselves in a way, right? And it's this the like stereotypical altar call, pastor preaching, the prayer, that it doesn't have to be that way. And life is not always cut that way. So,
Right.
I've experienced some things in my life. We all have experienced things. And so I know that at different points, people need help in their most tragic situation. And
Hmm.
it is not in the church, rarely in the church when these things are going. Yeah, telling these human stories is a high priority for me. Telling them in a human way.
I like that.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that. So, Casey Films,
Mhm.
you have a business, you do commercials, documentaries, film.
Mhm.
You do a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube and things like that. But I know that you have a partnership
Mhm.
with another organization
Mhm.
where you utilize those skills as well in terms of social media and marketing. So I don't know if you want to touch on that
Yeah, yeah.
a little bit.
So Casey Films and Media was born in Cleveland, Ohio, because the guy asked me how much to make a film, and
You got six
so
thousand
yeah, I
dollars.
got $6,000 for that, and
Mm,
so I continue to do that. And my wife Simone started a business, a social media marketing business called Anik Marketing Group, and so she does. She's gonna. I'm sure you're gonna talk to her. She does almost everything for the business, and we work together on that business, which is our foundation that really covers us, right? Um and so through KC Films and Anik Marketing Group, KC Films, I'm able to do all of the video work for the clients, like whatever they might need. They might need a legit commercial. They might need social media shorts. They might need, so I'm able to work with Simone and Anik to do those portions. And I do some other things that she'll talk about. Um, but yeah, so there's this merging of our abilities and our businesses. There's a good meshing there. So the social media marketing and the video marketing from Casey Films and Media. So we work together on that. And yeah, and then working as an entrepreneur with your wife is that's challenging sometimes.
that's work.
Yeah, that's the work itself.
Hmm.
But I think we found a good groove. Like, what's foundational for us is that we like each other, and so there's that's a big thing there. Um, but we found a way. Like sometimes we work in the same space, but other times we do not work in the same space. That we're not always around each other. So a lot of times I'll work in the backyard. Fortunately, I live in Florida, so I can.
Oh, whatever.
I can
You're
live.
missing the
I
snow. Go
can.
ahead.
I can work. All year round in outside if I wanted to. Well, not in the summer; it's too hot. But yeah, we will work in separate spaces, come together. Like we do so much together. For some people, I know it could be a challenge, but I think we figured the nuance of enough space and coming together. We brainstorm a lot. I mean, we have a lot of interaction. We work together. And a nice thing is our kids, and I'm sure someone will touch on this. Our kids kind of work in the business as well. I'll let her talk about. So yeah, we are full time entrepreneurs living on the edge because there is nobody that's going to give us anything at the end of the month, or there's no check to get from anybody. We got to go get it. So that's tough.
And I'm doing another series on just like entrepreneurs, and you would qualify as someone like that, obviously,
Hmm.
and Simone, in terms of what it's like starting a business, and what's all involved, the sacrifices, and the work,
Hmm.
especially in the area of social media and marketing,
Hmm.
um, which is a growing space right now. But it does fit nicely into film. It
Hmm.
does fit nicely into the creative space, and
Hmm.
so I can see a natural match. I can see things in my
Yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
from a distance
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
it could work.
Yeah. Yeah. Works
Yeah,
well. Works. We work well together.
right, right. Well, Kevin, I don't know if there's any parting words that you'd like to say, or some words of wisdom that you'd want to give someone who is looking to get started in film, and also, if you could provide us with your social media websites, your IG handle and things like that, so people could check out your stuff and really get to know what you do.
Sure. My website is kcfilmsmedia.com. So kcfilms with an S media.com. And my socials are kcfilmsmedia on Instagram and Facebook. And I generally use those and YouTube. So it's Kevin Cameron Films on YouTube because I started my YouTube channel a long time ago. And so I I think I started it before I actually started my business. So it's Kevin Cameron Films. And so my website, that's my Instagram, my Facebook, and my YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. A lot of kids like my YouTube channel because of all the music videos and funny stuff. And I got a call the other day from one of my friends, Myron, and he said that we are doing a binge on your YouTube channel as a family. So video after video, video after video. Um, and so parting words, I would probably it's not easy just to say, you have a passion for something just to go do it. Those are just words. But if you are one of those individuals who has that itch that you're dying to scratch, I would say in 2026 that it is important for you to scratch it and to take your idea and make it a reality. And I would say start with finishing the first idea, right? And then you can go on to the next because you'll be proud of the fact that you finished something. And then you'll just step by step continue to um, grow with your passion. And for me, what I could tell you from experience is working working from my passion, doing things just because I wanted to do them from the passion is what propelled me forward. So I wasn't looking for anything from anybody. I wasn't looking to get paid. I invested in myself by having a computer, camera, some lights, and a microphone. And I just let the ideas flow and I put it out there. And I did that for years. And it is now, I've been in business since probably 2013, that I'm reaping the real benefits of all of those foundational years of putting myself out there and putting my creative ideas out there and doing stuff like that. And uh, so I would really admonish somebody to really take that step forward and finish a project. But whether it's art, whether it's opening a business, starting small, whatever it is, like take that step, finish it, in whatever form it is. And what I love about what I do is I really don't ever have to retire because I can always direct, I can always write,
Right.
and there's no age discrimination with that in the arts like that. And so I love that, and hopefully I can retire one day if I have to. Hopefully my movies will do what it needs to do. I'll be all right.
Well, it's been great having you on. There's so many more things that I want to ask you, like in terms of mentorships,
But
in terms of, some of your creative processes and how, you were able to do certain things. Like, maybe there wasn't a lot of financing, but somehow you were able to make it work. So I think a lot of those things would be helpful for people
Sure.
to hear, to
Sure.
see how they actually, how you actually did it. Um, but I think we got people got a lot from today in terms of what you're about and how how you're thriving in your business, how you're able to really leave a profession to do another profession, and not at an early age either. This is, you were a principal, and in that teaching profession, that's pretty high up there. And then to say, hey, I'm going to do film and have your own business and so forth. So, even from the entrepreneurial part, sole proprietor, I want to talk more.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hopefully we could connect again and we could have further conversations about this. I think this was excellent. I do appreciate you being on and spreading your knowledge. And, I was waiting for an impersonation of your father that people have come to know.
I know,
but
right?
maybe on the next time that
Maybe
you're
on the next
on,
one. Maybe on the next
you
one.
would let us know. So, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us and take care.
All right, take care.